and soon the world will find these songs and songs to be worth singing. Like summer rains and passing trains and every sound from far and near. It won't be long before you hear this too.
Thank you to Larry Hochman for everything that you did. To Larry Luckenbill and Lucy Arnaz. Lucy, you were and always will be Marvin's Lucy. What you have shown is true dedication, loyalty, and deep friendship to Marvin throughout his life and after his death. Thank you. To Judy Clerman. Judy, where's Judy? She's been there every step of the way. Judy, words can never ever express or begin to express my gratitude for all you have done. Your endearing love for Marvin, your loyalty in preserving Marvin's legacy. Marvin Hamlisch is so proud of you. And finally to Rupert Holmes. Where's Rupert? This isn't an easy one. Rupert, Marvin found his lyricist and friend in you. He was happy, and he said to me, this is the lyricist I want to work with forever. Your heart, your friendship to him, your support and kindness, like Rogers and Hart, Lerner and Lowe, Marvin loves saying Hamlisch and Holmes. Marvin was very concerned about the status of arts in the schools in our country, meaning the elimination of arts in our schools under budget cuts. Arts are not expendable. He encouraged children to attend, and attending his concerts, and built an audience like no other. He included the children with humor, laughter, and love. He was exceedingly proud of his children's book, Marvin Makes Music. He loved the illustrations. He loved the design. He loved the song he and Rupert wrote. Marvin Hamlisch is not here to promote his book he was so proud of, so it's up to us, to everyone in this room. We must spread the word, buy stacks for schools and gifts. We must do this for him. We must do this for Marvin.
I'd introduce the panel to you. This is Judith Clerman. This is Terry Hamlisch. This is Lucy Arnaz. This is Larry Hochman and Rupert Holmes. And I've got one of the best things to say about Marvin is the quality of the people who he had around him doing the kinds of work that they did and being free to do it the way it was Marvin's way to do things. So I'd like to start with Rupert. Rupert, Rupert's a lyricist. Well, what does that mean? We're going to find out. You were an army brat, and your dad was a band leader.
My dad was a band leader. Oh, sorry, I was just commenting to Larry. I'll now sing the Pina Colada song for you. Yes, my dad was a band leader. He played. I was so touched by what Terry said. My dad was a music teacher. He was supervisor of music for the Nyack High School school system. I grew up proudly being the son of a music teacher, and he would be horrified to see how music is going out of our school systems, where we have children who are being taught in elementary school how to play violin, and there's no orchestra for them to play in when they get to high school. So I wanted to underscore not only that dilemma, but the fact that Marvin Hamlisch was someone who gave constantly, at the drop of a hat, and he brought the hat and he dropped it. Whenever a school, any kind of musical, I like that, musical education, anytime anything needed his help in terms of youth and music, he was there for it. And I just wanted to add.
You brought your own hat.
Yes.
All right, listen, a couple of questions, Rupert. First of all, let's just say that The Mystery of Edwin Drood, your musical, is opening in Studio 54. That's on 54th Street. And what comes first? The story, the music, or the lyrics?
I wrote a musical called Curtains with David Hyde Pierce. And in that musical, David Hyde Pierce, as an eager a fan of songwriters, asks the composer of the musical, within the musical, says, which comes first, the music or the lyrics? And he said, well, it's kind of like saying which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And he says, so it's the music. Sometimes I write the music and the lyrics, but I was thrilled to write with America's composer, Marvin Hamlisch. And if whatever pleasure he took in referring to Hamlisch and Holmes, imagine how I felt getting to hyphenate my name to that talent. Marvin was that rare thing, and every time you hear his music, by the way, he is that rare thing still. Marvin's still with us every time you hear a note that he wrote. But he was that rare thing which was a genius and a mensch. He was brilliant beyond measurement, beyond most of our understanding, and he was also the swellest and just the funniest guy. And I think it's wonderful that he wrote a book, that one of his last creations was a book about a young person's feelings about music, because Marvin was always a young person. Marvin was always a bit of a boy, and he was always loving music. This particular song, which I was so honored to write, one of the last songs that Marvin ever wrote, about the music in his mind, in your mind, in our mind. He would sit down with me and say, we got to write a song today that says, and that would be how we'd start the process. He'd tell me what it should be about.
What the story was.
Yes, what the story was, and the hope of it. And he said, I really want to write a song that says to young people and all the young people that live within us, that music is not just the radio, it's not just TV, it's every sound you hear has musicality to it. Even the screeching of the A train as it makes a turn that it was never meant to take. It just, and we started to riff on that, and I said, like this, there's nothing like the sound of French fries going into that initial, or onions in a skillet hitting the butter for one time. And he said, yes. So out of that came immediately, almost full blown, and the song that you hear. And then I had the joy of sitting at home. He would do this he could do it in 3 minutes. Sometimes it might take him all of 3 hours. But then I would get to go home for 3 weeks or whatever, and try to get the words to sing Marvin's tune and get my words to be Marvin's voice. And it was a joy to write this particular song. And when I wrote with Marvin most of the time, the music came first and the words came second, inspired by Marvin.
Yes, Judith is a wonderful human being. She is called a chorus master. And she's worked with the best. She's worked with Philip Glass, Stephen Sondheim, with the Muppets.
Yes. By the way, that's how I got to know Marvin Hamlisch. I decided when I taught at the Juilliard School, and somebody from Lincoln Center was talking to me about having kids sing at the Lincoln Center Christmas tree, and I said, let's make a big event. And I went to Beverly Sills' assistant, and I said, we need to bring the Muppets to Lincoln Center, and I want Big Bird and Beverly Sills together. That's how that lasted for 9 years. And the second year I went to the producer. I said, you know what, I think one of the great composers that we need to bring here, who's going to work great with kids, because I brought kids from all over to sing, was Marvin Hamlisch. And that's how we got to know one another. It was Marvin and Rosita for the evening, and that's how our relationship started, the Muppets.
And soon the